Jaya Jaya, Shivarajaya here from vitalcoaching.com. The topic for this video is what is the dark masculine. A couple of weeks ago I posted this question on my wall on Facebook and I got lots of replies and lots of answers, and one of the main things that I noticed is that there is a lot of confusion around that. For many people, they will associate darkness with something that is really bad, something negative, and I tend to make a very strong distinction between darkness and shadows. Darkness, there is nothing bad by itself. It's a quality of energy by itself, a little bit like fire, a little bit like love, a little bit like power. And so we are going to try to reframe here what it means. And of course, everything that I'm saying here is just my opinion. It's okay if you have a different opinion or a different definition. We are evolved and mature human beings and are able to hold multiple visions and multiple truths at the same time. This is really important to understand, okay? I'm not here trying to force my vision or my opinion on you. It's okay if you have a different opinion or a different experience of reality, okay? So in life, we can say that we have two polarities, right? Light and darkness, all the way to the core of the earth. So light and darkness. And those two polarities, you might feel them around you. Sometimes you have the feeling that there is a lot of light in your field. You are trapped into this field of beauty and magnificence that is experienced as light pouring through your field. And sometimes you are going to feel the power of the darkness, and you are going to feel this energy in your field like this warrior power and grounded energy, and that's going to be defined or called darkness in your field. So for me, the dark masculine is a human being or a man who is polarized in the darkness, mainly in the darkness. And something that is really important, it is that light and darkness are just two polarities. You have all the flavors in between, all the grays, all the shades of grays in between. So darkness doesn't mean that you are just dark. It means that you are mainly polarized in that direction, or that's the quality that you are expressing as the dark masculine, or that you define within the field of the dark masculine. So those are the two polarities. If I have to summarize them in just one word, okay, simplify to the max. I know that for some of you, you might not have that definition, but if I simplify it to the max, I would say that it's love for the light and power for the darkness. Simplify to the max. Of course, we can say darkness has love, and all those qualities are present. Light has lots of power as well. But if we want to really simplify to the max, those are two polarities that we can use when we define them. So the next thing that is really important, it is that those qualities are really impersonal. They are really formless. It's, for instance, when we try to define love, we go like, what is love? Oh my God, it's an energy, it's something that cannot be named or even touched. So what we tend to define when we say what is love, then we are going to give the symptoms of love, what we see on the surface of our minds or on the surface of life, and we will say this is love. And I say, well, the essence of love is deeper than that. The essence of love is something that is formless, and then we see the symptom of love. We say love is when you hug somebody that you care for. Okay, that's love. But it's not the essence of love. This is the symptom of love. And it's the same when it comes to the masculine or to the dark masculine. We can say what we are defining as dark masculine. Very often we define it as the symptoms on the surface of life. Here is how it feels, or here are the qualities that might point in the direction of the dark masculine. So I've got a whole series of adjectives and definitions here that define a little bit the dark masculine. So those are the qualities that you might feel appear on the surface. But when we say dark masculine, it's eventually something that is way deeper than that. It's a formless state of mind. When I'm in my dark masculine, it's an energetic embodiment that, cannot be summarized in just one word or one quality. It's a state of being, okay? So we are going to cross that line and simplify it again and bring it to the surface so that we can pinpoint the symptoms of what the dark masculine looks like when it's expressed in today's world. So here are some qualities. Really fast. The dark masculine shows up, is truthful, expresses unshakable presence, takes responsibility, protects, conquers, leads, creates, activates, inspires, liberates, opens space, loves powerfully, validates, empowers, creates, destroys, respects, is honest, is direct, is connected, is caring, loving, smart, awake, envisions, is unapologetic, confident, free, clear boundaries, fearless, warrior. Okay, that word warrior for me is really one that expresses this really powerfully. Is clear, is precise, is awake, is impactful, penetrative, masterful, passionate, ambitious, purpose driven, focused, sharp. So those are some of the qualities that I feel express the dark masculine. And of course, it's just like all of that can be moved around. You can say, well, some of those qualities can be named as light masculine as well. I totally agree, okay? This is simply to give a little bit of a set of flavors that we might call dark masculine. And of course, if we go into those are mature qualities, but then we could go into the immature qualities of the dark masculine. And very often this is why people are going to be afraid of anything that is labeled as darkness, because very often the darkness will be expressed in its immature form. And so in its shadow forms. And the dark masculine in its shadow forms will be complaining, resentful, blaming, misusing his power, contracting, staying bitter, being rigid, controlling, abusive, manipulative, ghosting, flaming, selfish, inconsiderate, triggered, disrespectful, aggressive, attacking, losing his shit, vindictive, reactive, judging, limiting, oppressing, dominating, jealous, demanding, shut down, bragging, arrogant, virtuous signaling, cruel, escalating, provoking, triggered, invasive, impatient, secretive, obsessive, fanatical, intolerant, destructive, forceful, toxic, mean. So again, those qualities, you can say some of those can be the shadow of the light masculine. But again, these are like things that can really be moved around. The reason why we are creating these definitions is really to identify what is the difference between mature and immature qualities. For instance, when I'm complaining about things and not taking responsibility for myself, if I go complaining about what's happening in my life or something that somebody's doing to me, I go like the complaining pattern itself is a shadow. It means that it's not necessarily something that is going to be empowering to me. The more I complain, the more I create these neural pathways inside of me that keep me trapped. Okay, and the reason why I'm complaining very often is because I don't dare to take responsibility for changing the circumstances. If there is something I don't like in my life, it's my responsibility to do something about it. So the mature masculine will take responsibility. The immature masculine will tend to complain. Be resentful. I will tend to be blaming. I'm going to blame external circumstances rather than, again, taking responsibility. I will be extremely controlling, extremely demanding. I will be jealous. I will be fanatical, intolerant. So all those qualities are expressions of, in that case, of the dark masculine. And again, some of these can be transferred as shadows of the light masculine or the light feminine or the dark feminine as well, okay? We are not here defining it in just one way. But I hope this gives you a little bit of an overview of the possibilities of what is out there. Again, remember that you've got two polarities, two energetic polarities, light and darkness, and somebody, a man who is embodied in his dark masculine will tend to be polarized a little bit more in the darkness side, okay? Please post in the comments here, tell me what you feel about these definitions, what's your expression, how do you define that? Does the distinction between shadow and darkness make sense to you, okay? And how do you feel about the word dark masculine itself? Is it something that triggers you, that scares you, or you feel completely embodied in it? Do you feel comfortable with it? When you meet somebody, as a woman, for instance, or as a man who is embodied in his dark masculine, do you feel comfortable around that person? Do you have the feeling that if there is discomfort, does that come from an expression of the shadows of his dark masculine or from the dark masculine by itself? Do you feel safe? Do you feel seen? Do you feel his presence? Tell me a little bit about your experience and how you respond to this specific term. I look forward to hear back from you, and what I recorded here is my truth right now. This truth might be modified and evolve because this is what we are doing as human beings. We are flexible and open to to reframing and redefining our belief systems and our truth. How does that feel to you? Love you.